I'm calling in for Mr. Mitchell Show.
Okay. I'm gonna get you on the air right now.
All right.
Hold on.
American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore.
The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear on 1010 are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
Welcome to The Heights, where we focus on positivity and solutions. I'm your host, George E. Mitchell. Welcome to The Heights.
You ready, Salim?
Yes, sir. All right, hey everybody, how y'all doing? It's Salim Williams. I'm stepping in as the guest host for Mr. George today. Today is Motivational Wednesday, and we about to just, do some motivation, and we going to talk about, I got some quotes for y'all from some of our good literary artists and people who, motivated us throughout the times where we've been fighting the hardest. And now is a time, where we need a lot of motivation because there's a lot of things going on and that might be distracting us from our goals or distracting us from anything that we need to be doing, distracting us from our health. Maybe something that's going on can be distracting us from things that we need to be focused on to make ourselves the best that we can be, so we just need to make sure we stay focused. That's like one of the greatest things dealing with, motivation and working. When you doing these things and you are in the community helping people every day and things like that, you had to be sure to take care of yourself as well. You know what I'm saying? And you had to be motivated to both want to care for yourself and for the community, and you had to be able to take on that responsibility, with great influence and great platforms and things like that becomes great responsibility. And what you do with that, it shows us who you are, and it shows us what your motivations are, and it shows us who you are. Yeah, pretty much. So I wanted today to talk about like a few people, like writers like Amiri Baraka. That's somebody who inspires me. And Langston Hughes, the guy who we named the center after. Speaking of, I'm down here at the Langston Hughes Community Center. Our phone number down here is 443-759-8921. And we're located on 5011 Arbutus Avenue. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m., we have food drives. We giving away food. A lot of food for people who need it. If you need food, Tuesday and Thursday, 2 p.m., we have food drives. If you are elder, 62 or older, in the 21215 or area or 10-mile radius, you can call us down here at the LH Langston Hughes Community Center and at 443-759-8921, and we will be delivering out food, non-perishables, and other things out to our seniors and our elders. You had to put in your order by 4 p.m. Monday for it to be delivered on the following week. So we out here, doing this work. Mr. Mitchell, he's got things going for us, and his volunteers down here are blessing the community. And everybody's down here working hard. Yesterday they had a good lunch. I saw a lot of smiles on everybody's faces, and we just here to do our duty. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that you can do. When you have a place in the community, and when you are sheltered by the community, because we all love each other and we all will help each other, and we all are each other's ride or die, if you want to put it that way, because it is needed. It takes a village to raise a child is a great saying. You know what I'm saying? And I have proof of that is me. I've been nurtured and taught by many different men and women in my life throughout my life so far. And my mother has been there to put me in these situations and put me around these people. So it starts with our families and our communities, where we get our motivations and where we get the things that we do in our nature. Amiri Baraka once said, art is whatever makes you proud to be human. So that's powerful, I believe. And I feel that that's true because art, I believe, is an expression of human existence. Like, it's a way that we make our lives relatable to one another's. And whatever you are proud to do as a human, whether it's like Mr. Mitchell helping out the community, that makes him feel fulfilled, and it makes him proud, and it makes him know that he's doing the right thing that he should be doing. So therefore, that is his art form, is helping people. So it's like any lane of life that you are in, you are performing the art for the people, for whoever you're doing your service for. And that's like an amazing thing. Like, I really agree with that art is whatever makes you proud to be human. So for me, being a musician and a producer and helping people get their vision artistically and musically clear across the board, because I'm a producer and an audio engineer, so I know the technicalities and things that are needed for certain ideas to come across and be transferred into songs and things like that. So that's my passion and what I'm proud of, and that is my art form. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes me unique as a human. That's my human expression. Yeah. And I know yesterday was Political Tuesday, but Amiri Baraka, he was a pretty political guy, or he had a lot of different ideologies throughout his life, and he talked about them very strongly. You know what I'm saying? He was very open with the things that he was saying. And one of his quotes was, "The black artist's role in America is to aid the destruction of America as he knows it." That's like really powerful, because that was coming during the time of like the civil rights protests and marches and things like that. And throughout the 1900s, he was writing and growing and becoming more developed and traveling and getting more ideologies about how the world actually works, aside from his just knowledge of like New York and where he was from. And he went on to become the poet laureate of New Jersey, and he actually lived this through. The black artist's role in America is to aid the destruction of America as he knows it. He became the poet laureate for New Jersey, and then he wrote a poem called "Somebody's Bombed America," or "Who Has Bombed America?" And it was highly. We had two callers.
Yep.
All right, thanks. Yeah, and he wrote this thing, somebody bombed America, and it was very controversial, and he was blaming a lot of government officials and basically putting everything out on the line with the climate of injustice and racial tension in America throughout the 1900s. And he put it all on the line and put it all out in front for everybody to see, because he was one of the greatest writers, and he was revered for his skill at the time. And then they began to diminish his talent and said that he wasn't as good of a writer, and he was straying away from literacy because he was fighting for his people, and he used his words as swords, because words backwards is swords. And words are powerful. Words do things. Today, y'all here with your guest host, Salim Williams, and this is the Heights Radio Show. I'd like to take our first caller for today. Hey, how you doing, caller?
Hey, brother Carlos here, my brother. How are you today?
Hey, man, how you doing? Love you, man. You know, when we call each other, we let each other know that we got love for each other.
Well, I not only love you, but I respect you.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to say that what motivates me is the young people like yourself who have come up and who are able to grasp the issues, and who are able to speak well and to deal with the society that we live in. That's what motivates me, because a lot of times us old Neanderthals, what we call ourselves, have old ideas. And, you know, in your area there in Baltimore, one of the ministers used to say, when he spoke to the young people said, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you still there?
Yep, sorry.
Okay. This minister said, the young people said that, well, the old people have the money, but we young people have the ideas. Right. So all we have to do is to get some of the money to develop all of our ideas. And so I appreciated that. Now, the other thing that motivates me and inspires me is real young children like George Floyd's daughter, right, Gianna, whose father was murdered in the streets, but yet she was able to articulate the word, my dad changed the world, or my daddy changed the world. Right. So, and she will be one of the young people coming up now that will possibly change the world. Now, she has already gotten a scholarship fully funded through Texas Southern University down there, and other people have donated to that particular family. Right. She said also that she wanted to become a medical doctor. She wants to become a doctor because she wants to help to heal people. People. And I thought that's a great ambition, even at her young age. And I think she's like 11 years old. Now, I'm going to get to just another point, and I'll be off here. Right. Now, you did articulate all the things that you said Trump has done for the black community yesterday. Yeah. You gave me I asked one empirical list, which I'm grateful for your research. Now, Roland Martin, who is a newspaper person and an analyst, contradicts a lot of what you have articulated, and I'm dealing deeply into that subject. But I do know this, that that particular person, Donald Trump, has a horrendous history of how he perceives or deals with black people and black issues. He calls the African countries S-hole countries. He has unleashed his Justice Department on black people by telling them the police to harass and rough people up that they have locked up. He has reincorporated the corrections, the private corrections systems. He has done away with Obama's 21st Century Policing Act that was going to reform the police departments. And in many, many sense, he has perpetrated and enhanced the killing of black people in the streets by police officers. And I think I can prove this empirically. Now, again, Roland Martin has contradicted a lot of the stuff that you have said, because he has dismantled all of the minority hiring practices and commissions that was in the administration before him, in the Barack Obama administration. So What I'm saying is that, as the lady mentioned yesterday, is that we have to go further and do the research and analysis to see if this man has done anything positive for our particular people, or whether he has a deep hatred, or at least he is espousing and he is creating a deep hatred of black people through his embrace of the Confederacy, Confederate flags, Confederate monuments, and right to this day, he is sicking the dogs and the jackbooted thugs on the poor people of Washington, D.C. And he says that he will never allow them to set up a zone, a so-called zone over there to honor Black Lives Matter, and that they will unleash the thugs and the jackbooted thugs and pepper spray. And even if they go to the White House, he has articulated that they will shoot them in real bullets. So I'm gonna. There's more to it, but I'm gonna get off here and let other people say what they say. But again, I appreciate you and your insight. And all I say is, keep digging, brother. Keep digging and keep doing your research. I mean, it's going to enhance you. Like Malcolm X says, don't be bamboozled, flim flam, and you know, keep it up, my brother. Thank you so much,
Yes,
and you keep up the good work. I appreciate it. Right, bye.
All right. Nice talking to you, man. I appreciate your comments. Yeah, I just hope nobody thinks that I'm like defending Donald Trump. I just don't want nobody to think that. You feel me? If anything, I don't know who would I want to run for president. I don't know, but not Donald Trump. I don't care for any of the candidates necessarily, but yeah, no, I do. I see all the sides. You know, that's the good thing of me not caring for them. I can see, like, objectively who they are. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely do have seen, you know, interviews. That's what I was saying yesterday. That's my main way of researching and, like, looking at what they actually say out of their mouth, and then look at the stuff that they write down and see, you know, compare how it compares, and see, like, you know, where the lies are and where the deception is, or just where the truth is. You know what I'm saying? We have any callers? This is the Heights Radio Show with Salim Williams, your guest host. How you doing today?
How you doing, brother Salim Williams? This is Alan, man.
Hey, man.
And my name is not Black People. You know, they you know, you're a young cat, man. I'm gonna school you today.
Right.
Agape love to you. You're a young brother. No, you're open-minded. See, when you say that, it's nothing demeaning to me, because you're a free man. You're open-minded. You let things come to you, and you can feel things coming from your gut. You just say, I'm going on instinct. So both parties got their downfall, because I said this right here. I can praise Donald Trump one day. You know why I say that? Check this out, Brother Salim. The stock market is almost 27,000. Donald Trump got pressure on him, because the rich folks said, give him my 401k, resurrect that stock market. He did it.
Right.
He doesn't think about poor folks. I'm saying this for you to think. This cause an honor dialogue. He doesn't care about poor folks, because he want to slash Medicare, and your like your grandmother and your aunt. They paid into that.
Right.
But he got pressure. He's a hell of a politician for his party. You know why I said I'm going to show this about the Democrat? I said this yesterday, a lady, I think she got upset with my car. I said, I'm a grown man, I'm a free man now, and women are emotional. Check this out. President Obama said, well, he didn't put my portrait at the White House. The White House is a public institution. We pay our taxes. Reverend Al is the most powerful black man in America. He preached George Floyd fear, right? Mm-hmm. You put your knees on my neck. Yeah. Donald Trump, non-literally, is putting his knee on President Obama. You know what, President Obama, the rich man, he had the most powerful title, 8 years. Mm-hmm. How come he won't sue Donald Trump, the White House, in federal court, and said discrimination because he's just like Bubba Watson? You know, Bubba Wallace, excuse me. You know why? He said, well, I saw a news. I said, well, you saw the news. It's his workplace. The FBI, like J. Edgar Hoover, says it's not a crime. And this was said, but that's his workplace. You still have federal mechanism called the EEOC You know what? You know, I was doing stuff when I was 20 and 26 years old. I stayed in the library. I stayed in the library all day, all night, because in our race, you don't put no gun in your hand. You put a pencil in your hand. Now you can put an internet in your hand. I was suing people. You know, Brother Mitchell said this. What a man said. George Mitchell said this. He told a white man. He said, "My son want to be a lawyer." Well, he don't need to be a lawyer because he knew that was powerful.
Right.
You know, all these guys. You know, I never thought we would be still labeled as inferior. When you sue a white man, he'll respect you because you take him up to a judge. You notice, you know, a lot of these black attorneys don't call the radio. They don't. All this racism. Benjamin Crump called. I said Reverend Al's the most powerful black man in America. Because Obama won't Al Sharpton to fight his battle because he's an activist. A black man will say, well, I got money. I know the laws of the federal government. How come he won't sue another president? Because Donald Trump is no special person. He's just one man with an ego problem. No people in New York, check this out. They sued him for his real estate practice. He didn't know what he was signing. He settled. When black lawyers started suing Donald Trump in a class action lawsuit, he would tone his rhetoric down because he loved money. Even his own said he loved money.
Once we hit his pants.
You don't take the you don't take the white man money with a gun. You take it with a docket number. You sue him. Dr. King did more for our race than any old man. You know why? Dr. King was doing this when he was a young man. He got legislation passed. The Voter Right Act in 1965. In the 60s. The Civil Rights Act in 1965 and the Voters Right Act. We already had it with the amendments. Like that young lady at that restaurant. She's a young lady. Her son dealt with the discrimination because it was video. She ought to be calling a lawyer. You know that you ain't heard no black lawyer saying nothing? I already know what time it is. See, a lot of black lawyers, they get their license from the state or from the government. They get too vocal, they're disbarred. I never used a black lawyer. I had a Jewish lawyer, I had a white lawyer. He said, just because somebody got your skin color like Ben Carson or Clarence Thomas, don't mean they black. The National Black Bar Association didn't even want to talk to Clarence Thomas because he's not fighting for his people. Just because you see a black politician don't mean he's fighting for you. Look at this. I want that lady that this is a fact. It's not opinion. They did put President Obama portrait up in the White House. Who occupied the White House for 8 years? President Obama and Michelle. We can't fight every black issue by ourselves. My name is not black people. My name is Alan. How come President Obama won't file a lawsuit as a civil rights case? Just like that mother and that son. They sitting on the gold mine because they recorded everybody in the world. And Michael Jordan ought to be upset too because it's hurting his brand. The young guy, 12 years old, nice guy. They didn't make no scene. The manager said, you upset? He said, no, I'm just talking to you. Do your eyes see what I see? And you're a young man. I don't see inferiority. Do you see inferiority? No, I don't want that stuff to rub off on me because our race, that's why we stayed in slavery for 400 years. Because we saw it and we felt good with it. I don't want to be around people that's inferior. I'm going to tell you this right here, Brother Salim. I stayed in the library all the time. I read TCA law. That was in Tennessee. I read everything. And white people say, I know this guy. But you got to sue a man to make him respect you. You got to spend a little money. Don't buy that Maserati. Don't buy that Rolls Royce. You notice you don't hear no black lawyers calling you? I hadn't heard not one black lawyer call you. The only person that I would put faith in, George Mitchell said his son went to law school. He's the younger generation like Dr. King. He did more for our race. He was a young man than any old man I have ever seen. Old man just have diarrhea at the mouth because he know he about to meet his maker. I did more myself when I was young, too. I was suing people when I was young. But I don't brag about it. My name is not black people. My name is Alan. You know what I'm saying? They lump us in like we are a herd of cattle or something. Like a herd of cattle. My name is not black. My mother didn't name me black. Your name's Salim. Always remember that, Doc.
Yes, sir.
Always remember that.
Yes, sir.
And motivation. It's a guy called in and asked about Napoleon Hill. You ever heard of a guy named W. Clement Stone? He turned $100 in 1919 and parlayed it with his corporation to $3 billion. Most white people never heard of this guy out of Chicago. and his role model was Napoleon Hill. So when people call the radio, educated people know what educated people are talking about. I know when people are spilling diarrhea at the mouth, I'm just saying a lot of old men, they just, I'm not calling no name. It's like they give all this knowledge to young people. Man, you go to the library, that's why they defund the library. You can get so much knowledge in the library, you can be a powerful man when you become about 30 years old.
Right.
You open-minded. When you said that, when you say you don't know who you're going to vote for, that's called being open-minded. You're not being programmed. You're not being brainwashed.
Yes, sir. Never.
Thank you, now. Have a good one, now. Nice talking to you, young man.
Yes.
God be love to you.
Yes, sir. Love you too, man. Yeah, man. Like you said, a few more. All right, that's cool. Yeah, man. Like what he was saying at the end about like programming and stuff like that. That's like a part of motivation too. You cannot allow for other outside things to influence you to do something. It has to come from inside of you. Like the best motivation is inner motivation. Like when you are so overwhelmed and rolling in energy that want to do something and giving energy towards something, then it comes into fruition, then it becomes true. So you had to be able to program yourself and know what things is going to be conducive to your goals and to your missions. And this is the Heights Radio Show with Salim Williams, and we'll take the next caller.
Good afternoon.
Hey, man. How you doing? How you feeling? Love you,
man. Back at you. Much love to you. Right. Hey, listen. I want to make a comment, then I want your response to something that I read recently.
All right.
First of all, know that in African culture, the title elder is an earned title.
Right.
You don't become an elder just because you live to a ripe old age. You have to acquire the knowledge of our history and culture that will enable you to socialize and educate African children to be what we need them to be at this point in time, at this point in history. So you got a lot of people who are old, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, who have not earned the title elder because they refuse to read. They refuse to educate themselves. Mm-hmm. Now I heard a discussion on talk radio this morning, and they were talking about the boycott at the Crab House, Vincent's Crab House, I think.
Right.
And all three of the organizers, I could tell, had not really read anything because they don't understand that boycotts are limited. And we used to do that back in the 60s and the 70s. I'll be 71 this year.
Right.
And I understand you have to educate yourself. You have to learn to read. Otherwise, you will misinform and mislead younger people coming behind you. Some people can go on and on and on and on and don't say anything because they haven't read anything. I want to ask you your opinion about this statement in this book I just read recently. I'd heard about it, but I hadn't read until recently because I keep running into this mindset that you're going to change the racist attitudes of white folks. Okay, check this out.
All right.
Black people will never gain full equality in this country. Even those Herculean efforts we hail as successful will produce no more than temporary peaks of progress, short-lived victories that slide into irrelevance as racial patterns adapt in ways that maintain white domination. This is a hard-to-accept fact that all history verifies. We must acknowledge it, not as a sign of submission, but as an act of ultimate defiance. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did. That was like extremely powerful. I felt like a little tingling in my chest when you were saying that. But
that's taken from the book Faces at the Bottom of the Well. The subtitle is The Permanence of Racism. And any old person who has really become an elder, they should tell you, racism is going to be here. You're not going to eradicate it.
Right.
It's the way of the world now.
Right.
Don't focus on what existed back at that time when we were the only people in the world, when there was truly only one human race. That was us, the black folks. Focus on the reality. Today, racism is a worldwide that you can't get around, and you're not going to change it. I keep running into people who think they're going to change the racist behavior of white folks. And even if you changed it, suppose they change, what's to say they won't relapse and start acting racist again?
Right.
So we can't base our struggle on trying to change them. No, we have to base our struggle on preparing at all times to defend ourselves from them, because they're going to be racist as long as they're on the planet. So what say you about that statement?
So I was thinking, when you were saying that, I was thinking like, yeah, that's what history. All right, cool. What history has shown us, and I do believe that there is reprieve, but I do understand that we are in a world with these white counterparts, and that we had to coexist with. So it's a situation where, as though we can never really escape them. All right, yeah, we can never escape them. So that is true to an extent. But I always like to have a positive attitude. And for 1 second, we're gonna go to break real quick, and we'll be right back.
All right.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore.
The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
Back.
All right, so we back on the Heights Radio Show with your guest host Salim Williams, stepping in for Mr. George Mitchell today. And yeah, we were just talking about this quote from the book. It was called "Racist at the Bottom of the Well," I believe. And yeah, that was really strong. And it struck like sharp truth. You know what I'm saying? So that is a thing that we had to realize. Like, it's not really necessarily an immediate or foreseeable escape from racism or being no, I don't want to say that, because I believe that now we in a time where, as though our people are coming to independence, rather than necessarily, you know, recognizing the system that we live under, and like Mr. Allen said, knowing the law so that we can be able to defend ourselves and fight against those things, and then also being able to flourish on our own and buying our own land and having our own communities and areas with security forces and people within ourselves that we can defend ourselves from them, things like that. And I feel like those things will come into fruition. And like you said, it's nothing to say that they won't just have a relapse and snap right back and burn our cities down again, just like back in the 1900s. So, you know, we do have hope, and we do have do believe that there.
Hope for what? Hope for what? What's the hope for? What are you hoping for? What are you hoping for?
I hope that, you know, we will be able to have dignity. Like, we will be able to have our own things that we can go to and depend on ourselves, rather than, you know, being sad or affected by the system around us that's seeming.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 21. I'm 21.
How old are you?
I'm 21.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, check this out. These are some books you need to really read, because you'll grow by leaps and bounds, right? I swear that there are 10 books that all Africans must read,
right,
you know, as soon as possible. The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. How Europe Underdeveloped Africa by Walter Rodney. How Capitalism Underdeveloped Black America by Manning Marble. The Choice, The Issue of Black Survival in America by Samuel Yet. The Black Bourgeoisie by E. Franklin Frazier. And what's the last one? The The autobiography of Malcolm X, I don't know how I forgot that because that's my hero, leader, and mentor. I don't know how I forgot that. That should have been put. But we have to understand, man, listen, we can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. The same folk who say they have been involved for 20, 30, 40 years in the struggle, and they still think integration and assimilation with whites is a solution. It is not. You should have learned that from the civil rights movement. Yeah. Truth be told, I know I get a lot of flack for this, right? The civil rights movement was a failure. It didn't work. We have to be realistic and face that truth, as painful as it is for some of us.
Yeah, it was,
I never subscribed to
it. It was what that quote you said.
It was a failure. Yeah, it was wishful thinking. I mean, why would any oppressed people want to integrate and assimilate with the oppressor who has committed unspeakable crimes against us and still do? And the laws are not going to protect us. They never have, because whoever makes the law has the authority to interpret it and apply it however they choose to. And when the enforcement of those laws are in the hands of your oppressor, the police, come on now. Yeah. Common sense should kick in and tell you it ain't working. We got to find another way, a different way. And I swear, separation is the only intelligent, rational solution to this conflict between Africans and Europeans. We have irreconcilable differences, and that's what a lot of integrationists, a lot of whom don't even know that they are integrationists. A lot of them don't even know that they are integrationists because they think that we're going to survive and thrive within the predominant social, economic, and political structure, which was not designed for us. I mean, people be talking about they was in the military and they went overseas. I said, well, why you go over there? What you fighting for? Stop the spread of communism. I said, well, who enslaved us, the communists or the capitalists? Right. And they be looking stupid because they don't do no homework. And these guys like 50, 60 years old and brag about having been in the military. For what? Making the world safe for white supremacy? That's what you were doing, truth be told.
Right.
All right, man, I ain't going to hold no more time. I'm going to let you go because I know you got other callers.
All right, man. Appreciate everything you said. And, yeah, thanks for calling in, man. All right, yeah.
All right, thank you for the time.
Yeah. All right, this is the Heights Radio Show with your guest host, Salim Williams, and we'll take the next caller.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how you doing
I called you yesterday.
Right.
I'm fine. What I found out about what you were saying, the things that Trump supposedly had done for black colleges,
right.
He did propose it and he did sign it, but it was never funded. So that's just like writing a bad check. The paperwork is just paperwork. Okay. And nobody actually got anything out of what he promised. And that's the thing, I guess, that annoys me the most about our system is they come up with these bills and then they get stalled in one house or stalled in another house or not funded, just passing bills and then don't put no money behind them. But, we end up in the same place. I think this country has a gazillion bills and laws right now on the books that the police should be able to do their job. But they allow them to pick and choose which laws they're going to enforce, which laws they're going to activate, and who they're going to activate them on. And we don't really need another law. We just need for them to do their job the way it's written. That's all. You get a report, you file a report. You don't throw it in the trash can. It was years before out that they weren't reporting all the rapes that were happening. Then they found out that they weren't processing the DNA. So, I mean, what is it that you give them all this money and then it takes you years to find out they're not even doing their job that you gave them the money for?
Yes, ma'am. I feel you. You got anything to give us from some motivation for Motivational Wednesday?
Yeah, more of us, everybody's recommending books, but I like to recommend that when somebody comes out with a law or a rule or whatever, don't just read the title, read the body of the law before you sign it. And I especially put that out to our legislators because too many of them don't bother to read what they're signing. They just take somebody else's word for it and move on. Right. You have a wonderful day. You're doing great.
All right. Thanks. Love you, man.
You too.
All right. So, yeah, today, I wanted to give y'all a few quotes, to just push us on through our days, through our dreams, through our future, through our endeavors and growing ourselves and making ourselves better and more useful tool for expansion and growth. You know what I'm saying? The guy who we're named after, Langston Hughes, he told us to hold fast to dreams. For if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. So your dreams, you need to pay attention to them. You need to know what you had to do to achieve your dreams. It's crazy because it's kind of different interpretations of the word dream, like dreams that you have in your mind when you're sleeping, and pay attention to those, because those actually give you some signals and signs and things that you should do in your life. And then your dreams and aspirations and goals as a person, you need to take those very seriously and nurture them and take care of yourself so that you're better able to meet them and complete them, And I really like Langston Hughes because he was a raw guy. He was like a real guy. He just tried to give a flat out view of the black situation in America during the Harlem Renaissance, during a time where we were being, hurt and bashed and played with. You know what I'm saying? Like how one of our last callers just said, like a lot of the movements and things that we have done have been to no avail. And right now it seems that we are in a even worse time than before. In 2015, in 2015, more police killed black people than in the height of Jim Crow and civil rights era. So that's like a disgrace, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know how we can be living in this state, and how did we let it get to this point. We need to get on our feet. And like some of our elders say, we need to get on our butts and read. You know what I'm saying? And we need to educate ourselves and be able to understand the world around us, so then we can make positive change, and then we can be able to affect things in the right way. Our caller was talking about, separation may be one of the best answers for us. Like over here at the Langston Hughes Community Center, we buying buildings. We got to buy buildings and do things like that so that our community can have places to go that's just for us to go, that we can't be discriminated at. You know what I'm saying? And where we love each other at. And yeah, and I just want to, people to realize that. And
you got three more calls online.
All right, cool. I'm going to just say this one more quote, and then we're going to go to another caller. By Langston Hughes, he says, "Negroes, sweet and docile, meek, humble, and kind, beware the day they change their mind." So to me, that just shows like our latent power, and like the abilities that we have are great beyond even our oppressors can measure. And and we are by nature great and kind and beautiful and loving people, but there is a side to us that can get ugly. This is the Heights Radio Show with your guest host, Salim Williams. Hey, caller, how you doing today?
Yes. Hi, this is Miss Sharon. How you doing, Salim?
Hey, how you doing, Miss Sharon?
All right. I love you, a young, intelligent young man, and I appreciate you.
Love you too.
Yeah, and you know what? I had 5 sons, Salim, and when they was younger, I told them about the street smarts, me and my husband and everything, and I told them about the situation what we was in as black people, and I told them, don't let nobody discourage you because of your skin color, right? Because God created all races. The black people was included in that too. People don't realize that. And it's one book out of all books that can really give you encouragement, and that's the Bible. And I told my sons to do the right thing, because righteous don't mean you holy roly and this and that. It means you want to do the right things. And I told them, stay out of trouble. Don't you not hang with nobody that's selling drugs, stealing cars. I'm not going to allow it. And I said, you're going to go to school every day, get your high school diploma. You could either go to college, military, or get a job. And I told him, I said, if I told him you decide to get married, and I said, it ain't going to be no abuse, domestic abuse with your wife, none of that. I'm not going for it. And so far, all of them are doing good, Salim, all of them. That's great. And my younger son, he's very smart. This boy was smart as a whip. I tell you, have you ever heard of a person when he was in school, getting 98 in calculus? Have you ever heard that? That's what he got. And guess what? He was the first one out of all my children to buy a home at the age of 22 years old. He went to auto. He got a degree in auto mechanics. That's what he wanted. Ever since he was a boy, he always liked to play with cars. Mm-hmm. But I always tell all my sons and my two daughters, when y'all come in the house, come visit me and y'all. We show love. We show love to our family. And my sons, they see each other. They hug each other. They say, I love you, man. Like that, like George Mitchell always say when people call. Yes, sir. Because we have some love up in this house. And I'm not going to have no evil spirits coming up here, whether it be friends or family. They're not coming up in here. I'm telling you, they're not coming here. I'm sorry. Unless they get their life together, then they come. Right. But other than that, and I tell them, life situations and how things is, I say you can still rise above what we're going through as a people, because the N word is not our word. That word is not ours, because in the book, in the dictionary, it says ignorant. And we was never ignorant people, because they took us from our land. We was very organized. People don't realize African people was organized before the white explorer came over there. Everything was organized, and we wasn't a lesser people. We was a smart people. We knew the things to do, and that's what I say. I said we all come together, and these men out here got to stay out of trouble. Mm-hmm. My husband didn't have a father, but he still turned out good. Because his mama raised him, a single mom. His mother wasn't single, but, his father wasn't there. But she raised him, But anyway, I tell my sons, do the right thing, and you can survive, and you can make it. As long as you got God behind you and backing you, you can make it. And that's the truth. And if anybody don't believe that, they got a problem. Because I'm going to tell you this, I had a hole in my roof. And when we went to try to see how much it was going to cost to get that roof fixed, we didn't have nowhere that type of money, Celine, to get that roof fixed, because it was a slate roof. Right. Don't you know, Celine, we hit the number. My husband hit it for $22,000, and I hit it for $5,000. That same week, we both hit the same day. And guess what? His job did not want to pay him and the other coworkers, so he got paid. Yeah. And God works in mysterious ways and stuff. I gave my sister, gave her $500. I told her she had to pay me back. Then about 10 years later, her old man hit for the same thing my husband hit me, and she gave me $600 back. And it's like vice versa, going back and forth, because we treat each other. We know how to treat each other as a family and stuff like that. Because my mother, she not going for it. And I told my kids, we love each other. We love each other. And my sons, and when I look at them, Celine, I just want to break down and cry, because they're doing the right thing. Yeah. They're doing the right thing.
And that's good that they're making you proud.
Yeah, and they look out for me and my husband. Since this coronavirus is going around, they make sure we have our gloves and our masks and our sanitizer. If we run out, they run before we could go to the store to get it ourselves. They already done got it. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, we know it's racism. Yeah, we know it's racism out there, but you got to have God to back you up and the Lord Jesus Christ to back you up, because people that's doing that racism stuff, they can't handle God or nothing like that, because one day we all going to die. But the ones that's evil and racist and stuff, they're not going to be where God is going to be at. They're going to be where Satan is.
Right.
That's where they're going to go. Yeah. So I thank you and I appreciate you and thank you for my call. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate you for calling and sharing with us.
You too.
And all my young brothers out there, keep making our mamas proud, y'all. Keep making our mamas proud. This is the Heights Radio Show with Salim Williams, your guest host, and I will take the next caller.
Yeah, how you doing, Salim?
Hey, man. How you doing?
Yeah, hello?
Yep.
Yeah, God, I'm sorry. I love you, man.
Love you too, man.
But keeping the tradition of George. Just wanted to say, you used the word Renaissance.
Right.
And the young lady used the word God. The Renaissance that I always speak about is the antiquity, the Kemet and Egypt, and the idea of one God. That intellectual concept came from the original man.
Okay.
And of course, the Europeans carried that on. The Roman Catholic Church abused it and used the Council of Trent. Are you familiar with the Council of Trent?
I'm not. I'm writing.
Okay. Well, it's not time to. Yeah, Council of Trent. Look that up. That's how the Catholic Church gained control of the people.
Right.
Okay. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention was, Brother Sekou mentioned. Let me think about that real quick. No, that's that's the English, man.
That's
the Crusade.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right, my bad. You can.
It has to do with Crusade. No, that's okay. Now we teaching each other, right? I'm learning from you, and I learned a lot from you listening to you, brother. So, and then the other thing too is, Brother Sekou mentioned some wonderful books that we can read. W.E.D. Boyce, The Souls of Black Folks. Have you read that?
I have not.
Got to put that down.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to put that down. Powerful book. The other one is, you ever heard of Victor Hugo?
Yes.
Okay, Les Miserables.
Oh yeah.
That was about Napoleon, right?
Yep.
Right, fall of Napoleon, and because America patterned itself after the French Revolution, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that failed. Napoleon came into power, then he lost power, but the right wing, remember, gained power, and now we have Donald Trump.
Right.
Okay, and then the other one is Shakespeare, which is the Merchant of Venice.
Okay.
And the Merchant of Venice is about hatred. It's about a group of people, the Jews or a Jewish man, getting his pound of flesh. See, and that's what we don't want to fall prey to. In other words, the Black Panthers. Remember, their failure was that the young people begin to disrespect the police to the point where they begin to call them names, correct? And then when the white kids got in it, the SDS, Students for a Democratic Society, the Weathermen, when they joined up with us, right, in an effort to end the war in Vietnam and to correct America's mistakes, they disrespected the police. And when those young white kids did that, the police brought the wrath of God onto us when we declared war on the FBI and the government, right?
Okay.
And that's how they ended our revolution when I was 21 years old. And so don't you guys make that mistake, okay? Yeah. That's what I want to say. Don't you guys make that mistake and be disrespectful. Stay on point and do what you need to do by any means necessary, but always be respectful.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, because they will use that against you and kill you. Mark Clark.
Right. As an excuse.
Yeah, right. You don't give them an excuse to kill you.
Yeah.
So, young man, I love you. My son is 26 years old. I'm a senior, and I told him the world is yours, young man.
Yes, sir.
But if you need counsel and you need advice, I'm always there, to assist you, man. So good luck to you, man. And I love you, man.
All right, man. I love you too, man. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate everybody that calls in. Thank y'all for listening. We appreciate everyone that comes on the show. I just want to share a couple of. All right. I just want to share another quote with y'all, and then we're going to take another caller real quick. All right. So, our great fighter, Muhammad Ali, our great fighter in the ring and out of the ring. He says, "He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. Now that's powerful. You know, in my youth, they say nowadays you gotta pay the cost to be the boss. And you know, that's like part of that. You know what I'm saying? You had to be able to take on all of the responsibilities and all of the risks that come with whatever you are trying to accomplish. And if you don't want to accomplish great things, then don't take great risks. But if you want to accomplish great things, then you must take great risks. And this is the Heights Radio Show with your guest host, Salim Williams. And hey, how you doing, caller?
Hello, Salim Williams.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello?
Yep.
Let me tell you something. I am so proud of you and thankful and thank Mr. Mitchell for letting you fill in for him. You made a statement yesterday about the First Care Act, and one of your callers, the lady called in, and she went to research it. I was so glad that she did that. And I'm also glad that you brought it up, and you said that you're not saying that you're a Trump supporter, but when you research things, you research things for yourself, because there's so much negativity going on about this president. They always say, if you want to hide something from somebody, put it in a book. And I'm quite sure when you read some of the things that he did for the black community, I'm quite sure that you were surprised. But then you got pushback saying, oh, Roland Martin said, you got to dig into it a little bit more. Now, do you want me to believe what I read? No. Stay to your convictions. You have sense enough to decipher the information for yourself. If you believe in something, what you read and what you seen, then you stay with your conviction. Because believe you me, with the Prison Reform Act that he put into place, do you think these people would have been coming out of jail for this COVID-19? Right. Do you know of anybody else who pardoned a black woman? All of this came under Trump, pardon that black woman. It's been a whole lot of presidents before he came here, 3 years. Right. It won't be until later on. There could be something good going on. Right. If something good is staring you in your face, you might don't recognize. I appreciate you, brother. Stay on track. Yeah. Decipher the information for yourself, baby. Have a good day, baby.
All right. Thank you. I love you. And I appreciate you for calling in. Thank you. Yeah, so, you know, we all here to discern information, and, you know, I feel proud that I'm making y'all proud, that I'm doing the right thing with my opportunity on this platform. And, you know, I'm just coming here just to show y'all who I am, because, you know, I'm a part of this, and we are all, you know, integral to the things that we need to get done. So if I can be of service to anybody, then, you know, just reach out to us at the LH Community Center, and we, you know, do many things. And if you want to do a podcast, we have slots open for you guys, and you can come down, call us, 5011 Arbutus Avenue, you know, and we here to provide voices for the community. And today was Motivational Wednesday, and I just want to give y'all one more quote by Dr. Mae Jemison, the first African-American female astronaut. I used to always love this woman, like, when I was a kid. I don't know why. Just, like, when I seen her picture when I was a kid, I just was, like, in love with her or whatever, and I just always read Mae Jemison books. So she said, never be limited by other people's limited imaginations. And I thank y'all for listening today on the Heights Radio Show with George Mitchell, and I'm Salim Williams, your guest host. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you for listening to the Heights Radio Show with your host, George E. Mitchell. Now on 5 days a week from 3:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. You heard right. Now on Monday through Friday at the same time from 3:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. on WOLB 1010 a.m. You can contact Mr. Mitchell at GEM14 or call down to the Langston Hughes Community Business and Resource Center at 443-759-8921 as we keep this positivity train rolling. See you next time, same station. Welcome to the Heights.